A few years ago, on a really cold winter day in Prague, I have decided to go to the sauna. And this experience changed a lot of things on how I see sexual tension.
I got turned on thinking about dolphins once.
One thing you need to know about saunas here in Europe is that it's public and it's mixed. So men and women are, together in the sauna and naked. Yeah, not with the swimsuit.
We'll wait till we get to the sauna.
So I went to one of these sauna for the sole purpose of relaxing, cleaning my toxins, being with myself. This is what I was usually doing back then, right? And at first, that's how it went. I was enjoying the time with myself. I was, meditating. I was really enjoying it. It was great. And then I left the sauna to go to the cold plunge. And who do I see? An absolute stunner. Like, stunner. And she's all by herself. And she's waiting to go to the sauna. Like, she's waiting in front of the door. There was a ceremony happening, right? And I stopped. And I'm like, fuck. I'm just looking at her like I'm just overwhelmed by her beauty at this point. And I just keep on looking at her, and she has her back turned so she doesn't see me. But because I'm just looking at her, she turns towards me. As soon as we look at each other in the eyes, I got a massive hard-on. And I had a towel, so I was a little bit embarrassed because, it's just weird for this to happen, And I just, I left, went to the cold plunge, and then came back, and I also wanted to go to the ceremony, right? To the sauna where there is one master doing some crazy shit. It's really fun, right? So we go to the ceremony. There's other people, of course. Every guys are looking at her. And I'm not really paying attention to her, even though in my mind I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need to talk to her. She's all by herself. She is stunning. And I need to do something. I have to. So the ceremony goes on. It's great. And when the ceremony ends, she decides to stay in the sauna. I'm literally dead at this point. I need to go to the cold plunge. So I'm going to the cold plunge. And when I arrive at the cold plunge and, swim in the cold water, I'm like, okay, I need to talk to her. There's no other ways. It's just going to happen. And I'm feeling scared at this point. Like, I'm like, Jesus, this is so weird. I'm naked. She's naked. I'm uncomfortable. Fuck this shit. But in my head, I'm like, I'm going to do it. It's happening. I leave the cold plunge. And obviously, she is coming towards me, right? I see her. And in that moment, I'm like, I'm talking to her. Now, here's the crazy thing that happened. As I'm walking towards her, she slowly starts to unwrap her towel, and she is literally fully naked as I start to speak to her. And, my mind was all over the place at this point. But I literally opened the conversation by saying, are you spiritual? Are you into yoga? This kind of stuff? You look like you're into this. And that's how we started the conversation. It actually went well. In my mind, I was like, fuck, I'm approaching a woman completely naked in the sauna. She's going to think I'm a creep. But it worked. I was more or less grounded. I was accepting myself in this weird state. And it worked. Long story short, we, had a great connection in the sauna, and she invited me to her place after the sauna, and we spent the whole night fucking each other's brains out. Crazy, And after the experience, the sexual experience, I told her, when I first looked at you in the eyes, I got hard instantly. It was crazy. And she told me, well, when I laid my eyes upon you, I got wet. And I was surprised. I was like, wow, that was quick. In my experience, women need more time to build arousal. And that's because I've learned, sexual energy. I've learned Taoism from Mantak Chia. And one of the things that he talks about is that women are like water and men are like fire, right? So for women to be fully aroused, they need to boil. And the boiling process doesn't happen like this, like the fire, right? It takes time. So that's why women need the dance and all of this. Whereas for a man, if he sees big boobs or a big ass, that's it. That's all he needs. I know this from experience. So I was very surprised when she said this. But at the same time, something clicked. Because when I was looking at her in that moment, I was already being intimate with her. I was feeling her. I was penetrating her with my energy. And this is what made her so fucking wet. And the problem is that because of porn, we have been conditioned to look at sex like it's just happening in the bedroom. Sex only happens when you enter her, right? If you've been part of the pickup community, you know that you can count one lay, and I know it sounds horrible, but one lay is equal to you penetrating her. Not true at all. Because from this experience that I had in the sauna, it became very clear that sex doesn't happen in the bedroom. It happens outside of the bedroom and inside the bedroom. And this is the missing piece for a lot of men, and maybe some of you, who struggle to create sexual tension with women. You think that sex is happening just in the bedroom. But what if sex is a whole experience that is happening when you look at her, when you first look at her in the eyes, right? And let me tell you this. If you apply this mindset after watching this video, how would you express yourself in front of your ideal woman if you already are intimate with her? How would you carry yourself if you knew you already have intimacy right now with her? How would you look at her if you knew you're having sex with her right now? What words would come out of your mouth if you knew you're already having sex with her? What kind of behaviors would you embody if you knew that you're penetrating her right now, that your energy is penetrating her right now? This mindset shift for me has been a game changer. Complete game changer. I went from sometime getting friend zoned for reasons that I didn't know to never ever getting friend zoned, because my energy, the way I carried myself, my expression was this intense that there was no way a woman would try to friend zone me. What would happen is I either get rejected because she has a boyfriend, because she's not into me, because she doesn't feel the chemistry, or instant connection where it clicks and we very quickly have sex. Because the very way I am is extremely sexual, because I'm already having sex with her in that very moment. It's so powerful. Like I think you can see the excitement that I have right now sharing this with you, because when I first learned this and I experienced it in the sauna, I was shocked, and after this experience, it just became so much more easy to create sexual tension, and I could just relax knowing that no matter what happens on a date with a woman, in the club, in the bar, or in the street, I know I'm polarizing. I know that I'm able to create a man-to-woman conversation no matter what, because the very way my mindset is wired is such that there is no other options but for me to create this sexual connection with the woman, because I'm seeing the very interaction as a sexual experience. I just, I love sharing this stuff. It's a real pleasure. If you look at it from this perspective, it makes sense, because whatever you think to be true is going to manifest in your life. So if in your mind you're already having sex with her, of course she's going to start feeling some things if the chemistry is right, if the connection is right, if the environment is right. because there's so many things in play, of course, like her menstrual phase, whether she has a boyfriend or not, whether she's feeling aroused that day or not. I mean, it's not that simple. I was a little bit lucky that day in the sauna because everything was aligned for me to create this connection with this woman and for her to invite me in her place and fuck her brains out, right? But I'm not saying that it's going to happen to you all the time. In fact, you will see that when you start meeting women on a consistent basis, well, sometimes you get rejected. It's inevitable. It's happening, right? But when you have this vibe that you carry with yourself, it makes the experience of meeting and dating women very efficient. Meaning that, like I said, some women will reject you, but the woman that will feel connected to you, they will be so into you, they will see you romantically, they will never put you in the friend zone, and they will want to have sex with you eventually and then build a relationship because you carry this vibe, right? Thank you for watching. If you want to have access to a free course to help you attract at least one date opportunity every week with your 10 out of 10 using the masculine alignment process, you can click on the link down below in the description. And I teach you a whole framework that will really help you. This is not some bullshit advice. This is proper training to really get a solid number every week and have a date eventually. I see you, my brother.